Today's rags to riches story shows yet again the American dream is possible. Elaine grew up on welfare. She was ironing shirts for a nickel when she was just 9 years old, and that was to help out her mom and dad. And years later, with a family of her own, Elaine found herself homeless. But she didn't give up. With 4 kids to care for, Elaine found a way to start her own business. And today, Elaine's American Maid is a huge success, not only for her, but for the low-income women she hires and teaches to start their own businesses. Please welcome to Northwest Afternoon, Elaine Gordon-Evans. Good to have you with us. Nice to be here. When you think about where you are now compared to where you were, what does that conjure up emotionally for you?
It just helps me realize how far I've come. Growing up on welfare and then living homeless for a year after I moved here to Washington, and I started my first maid service, it really showed me that you can really do anything in life if you have the ambition and the passion in your heart. And I really think that you can never go hungry because there's always work out there, and cleaning houses is really the best way to do it, to start.
So when you go back to that lowest point, was it when you were homeless, or what was the lowest point for you? Because it sounds like you had a lot of low ones.
I had a lot of low ones. Well, growing up in the projects on welfare was pretty low, but I never felt poor. Even when I was homeless I had 4 children with me, and I was pregnant with my son Jonathan at the time.
Where were you? Were you living in a car, or what were you doing?
Actually, we were traveling across the country. I had just recorded an exercising album for children, and we decided to go out on the road, but things didn't work out, so we wound up homeless. So we stayed in different people's homes, conference centers. I did spend one night in the back of a car sleeping, and but I never felt poor. I knew it was a circumstance that happens, and a lot of people, I mean, they don't realize how close to homelessness they really are.
Oh, you're one check away a lot of times. How did you keep the kids feeling okay and safe and secure when they're in this situation? Did they even comprehend it?
Not really. They're kids. Everything was an adventure, you know. I mean, I actually home taught them for the year on the road, and we had our little books in a box. Each child had their own little box, and I was really disciplined about doing my duties as a mom. And it was just really amazing because they just had a great time. Each state we went through, you know, we would stop at all the historical points and go swimming. And
you really did turn it into an adventure for them. How wonderful.
It was fun. I made it fun for them, and they didn't realize that we were really poor. They knew that we didn't have a home, but it was not so bad.
So what was the pivotal point? How did you kick it into gear and start your own business?
Well, when I landed here in Washington State, a really wonderful family, the HomeQuest family, took us in for 3 months and brought me to a doctor. I had Jonathan at Overlake Hospital, and they were so gracious. They paid the whole bill for me, which was, I wanted to pay $5 a week, and they said, no, it's on us. So,
oh, wow, this is a pay-it-forward kind of story, isn't it?
Yes, and then I started American Maid right after that. I actually started cleaning right after I gave birth with Jonathan for a month after that, and then I started hiring girls or recruiting girls to open up their own maid services through American Maid.
So explain to me how you do it. You just said, okay, I'm going to go clean somebody's house. Then how do you turn that into a business versus just cleaning someone's house? So for those of us who want to start out, what do you do?
You clean one house. You put an ad in the paper, or you put flyers out, and you start getting telephone calls, and you clean one house, and one house leads to 2, and then 3, and next thing you know, you're so busy, you're able to put people on to work with you. But what I did is I didn't want to just run a traditional maid service. I wanted to launch women that were low income, that were single moms struggling from either domestic violence or whatever their situation was, or just women who wanted to be mothers. And so I launched them. I helped them.
So then do they then have their own maid service, or what are they?
Yes, all of them have their own maid service. I have about 80 women that work through my service, and I launched them. They just...
Is Lila one of them? So
She's
Lila, when she offered you this opportunity, what were you going through? What were some of the tough times you were falling upon?
I had just lost my father, and I was completely lost. I had no direction, and I knew I needed to do something. And I found Elaine, and she helped me to launch my business, and I'm very successful now.
Really? So how did that change you emotionally and spiritually when you went from the doldrums of, grief to then having a successful business?
Well, for one, all I could think about was the loss of my dad. I was just stuck in this rut. And when I started working with her, I started meeting a lot of good people, and I feel really good about the people I clean for. They really respect Jessica and I coming, and it makes us feel really good.
That's wonderful. That must make you feel so good. What a reward.
Yes, I love my workers. I mean, the girls who come through American Maid. I have like 80 of them, and I feel like their mom. It's actually really funny because, I mean, how are you today? Are you having a good day? Or you sound tired. Go have some apple juice, or, you know, you're not going to work. I think you're going to go to work. You'll like it on Friday. I motivate them every day.
Well, then help motivate us right now. What is the one piece of advice you would have for women out there who might be struggling and are looking to you for inspiration?
Well, first of all, they can call me. I mean, I'll be happy to encourage them in any way I can. And really there's so much hope out there, not to give up, to really visualize, but not just to think it in your head, to feel it in your heart. Because if you don't feel the passion, you really won't get ahead. And there's nothing you can't have in life. I mean, you just have to keep on keeping on. And they will be successful. I mean, everyone who comes to American Maid, all of them are successful. Every one of them.
Oh, what a wonderful story. Thank you. Really appreciate what you've done for so many women out there.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more of Life Worth Having.